start losing traction. So possibly the truck might be a better driver than the actual driver itself. But this getting so close, that really, really concerns me. And I'm sure law enforcement is concerned about that as well. Now, you have to remember also, nobody is behind this vehicle. Does he know the helicopters are following him? How? That's my question. The windows aren't down. So this continuous reckless driving is not because law enforcement is right behind him. This reckless driving is just that driver driving reckless and is being a problem for a lot of these folks on the road. We're getting very close to the downtown area. I wonder if he's going to get off the freeway. If he does, I know my pilot Dylan is going to just do that straight over shot, so we're not going to lose him between the buildings. But right now, though, we're getting to a lot of heavy traffic, and he's starting to lose that ability to just make these rapid lane changes.
Right, to weave through traffic. But you got to wonder also, is he impaired, or this driver impaired? You don't know the state of mind and the emotional state, as well as the possible physical state of these drivers, right? What they're thinking, or when we cover things like this. But clearly just really erratic. It would be scary to be in that situation, stuck in traffic with him, because he almost took out a couple of cars, or at least broadsided and kind of nipped them. Oh,
yeah, you know, he got very, very close. I was just taking a peek at what that was. I wasn't sure if that was a stuffed animal or not. I just think it was unusual that there's a stuffed animal in the back of the truck. Yeah, he's gotten very, very close to a lot of vehicles. Right now, though, you see the speeds are slowing down, and that's because of heavy traffic. He isn't making that getting off to the right, so, you know, thinking that, okay, I'm just going to, a lot of traffic, I'm just going to get off the freeway. He seems to just be struggling with it, which is good and is bad, because if the law enforcement is close by, they might be able to at least get close enough to have lights and sirens and have at least the folks around know that something dangerous is happening or could be happening at any moment. Looks like now we're getting over to the right, so as soon as I said it, I wonder if we're going to try to get off the freeway. But you can see it right there. That's going to be the sheriff's helicopter that's overhead. Looks like we are going to be getting off the freeway. Going to be getting off near the convention center. There might actually still be a possibility that he gets back onto the freeway, maybe the 110. But if he gets into the downtown area, I know Dylan is going to stay right above it, so we're not going to lose him between the buildings.
It seems like, well, I was going to say, it's getting congested, more cars. Now it's harder to make these crazy maneuvers, which I guess is a good thing, but also the chances of someone getting hit and hurt are higher as well.
There he goes again, speeding up.
Yeah, running some red lights. And what always worries me when we're on the streets is, as you said, stop traffic. Like if somebody is just stopped and this thing plows into that person, you know, there's a real good chance there's going to be injuries. And then, of course, pedestrians. Whenever we go through anything like that red light that we just saw, I'm always worried that there's going to be somebody. And we're just getting from Melissa from our assignment desk saying that it's confirmed that this is a stolen vehicle. So it definitely is a stolen vehicle. First opportunity I could actually get to actually look into that into the windscreen, and I'm just wanting to see if there's somebody in the passenger seat. I think I missed my opportunity right there. But this pursuit continuing right there in the downtown area. I believe I'm actually looking at the map. We're by Maple, so we're getting into that fashion district area out here, which is going to be a lot tighter, and there's a good possibility a lot more pedestrians on the roadway.
Yeah, you could see he's going into the opposing lane of traffic, not afraid of that, trying to weave around cars and blowing through red lights at a pretty high rate of speed when you consider these are residential streets and commercial areas that he's going through, or the driver's going through. We don't know, I guess, if it's a man or a woman at this point. But ducking into here, Stu.
Two people.
Two people. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Definitely.
Yes, I see that. It almost
definitely
seems
somebody in the passenger seat.
as though this person kind of knows what they're doing a little bit, unless it's just the way they're pulling into these alleys and narrow areas, right?
Well,
it's like,
oh, there they come out.
I'm just going to get out here.
Yeah, just casually.
There we go. We're just going to get out, take a little walk, run into some, at least they put it in park. It's going to be a little tough right now. I'm going to stay a little bit wider in case they pop out over here.
That's a business,
but we'll
right?
try to move SkyFOX around. Yeah, trying to move them. Yeah, we're going to try to move around. We're kind of boxed in, but going to keep an eye, make sure we don't see anybody walk around the corner acting casual. But at least they put it in. So who's that? Who's that? Is that the gray hoodie? No, not a gray hoodie. Yeah.
Look at all that pedestrian traffic down there. They could certainly blend in if they were walking around on the sidewalk.
Unless they went into this, whatever this is.
Yeah. Or maybe they went through that door.
That's what law enforcement is telling us. So they went inside that building right there. That's the sheriff's ship. Thank you for letting us know, guys. We do appreciate that. So that was he had eyes on him. Apparently, they parked the vehicle and went inside that door, which is kind of unusual. I mean, did they see this door when they were driving around and were like, "Hey, that's a good spot," or is it just happened to be propped open? But at any rate, that vehicle is parked. The two persons that got out went inside that building right there, and we're definitely in the fashion district downtown.
It's like they knew where they were going, right, Stu? And in many cases, they do know where they're going. They have something in mind, and that's where they go.
Well, oftentimes with these pursuit suspects, they do go to a neighborhood they're familiar with. If they, have that luxury, you could say, they have the time for it, they end up where they're familiar with the area, and that door just propped open, right? Like
maybe they're familiar with this business.
Maybe someone opened it,
right? Maybe they have friends in there or family. Who knows? Maybe they know that door is always propped open. So again, you think about the fact that maybe they are familiar with this area and that company or business that's inside that building. Maybe they've been in that building before, and that's why they pulled up there.
Do you see? I don't see law enforcement down below. I thought for a moment I did, but it doesn't seem like that. Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. I'm wondering, because we made our way all the way over to LAPD. I'm sure they knew this was coming, but it's one of those ones. It was kind of a hot potato. It was we heard it getting passed around quite a bit. Like the sheriff's department said, "Oh, let CHP take it." CHP was interested. It's unusual sometimes how these things play out. But now that vehicle definitely in the LAPD area, unoccupied on the roadway there, and then that door propped open. And we don't know. That could be a parking garage in there. It doesn't look like it's a business, but and this is the thing also. It's where did they go after that? I mean, maybe I should be staying a little bit wider, seeing if somebody comes out on one of these side areas right there. We did clearly see the gray hoodie, so we're going to keep an eye on it and see what we can find. But again, we're just waiting on law enforcement to arrive out.
Well, it's a very big building, so if they're familiar with it, they can figure out a way to get around it. Also, they could also change clothing. Like, that's
change
a possibility.
Change what they're wearing. Let's take a look at moments ago when the suspects got out of this vehicle that was wanted.
Good deals over here in the
right here.
Fashion district.
There you're looking at them leaving that alleged stolen vehicle and heading into that building. So that was just moments ago.
I mean, that door either was open for them or it's always left open because that was way too convenient.
And they knew about it, They knew where they were going to go. They're familiar with this area. We're going to keep an eye on this, and Stu, let you do your thing, and we're going to take a quick break.
Why is this guy running?
Right.
Unless,
That's unusual.
But
maybe I'm being serious about this, and maybe he's got to catch a bus or something. But
okay. Well, you keep an eye on things. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Definitely.
All right, so we do thank our Fox LA team. They are taking a break from this suspected stolen vehicle pursuit. We're going to keep a very close eye if they decide to head back to what is unfolding there on the streets in LA. We, of course, will bring that to you, but they are in commercial break. Stu.
11, yeah, tell them thank you. Not a problem. Thank you for getting off of us. Copy. I kind of lost interest in this myself.
That we believe when the evidence
The indictment charges a scheme that the defendants entered into knowing that bribes would be offered and accepted by Tao and Jones in exchange for allowing the Duongs to exercise illegal influence over the levers of city government. The indictment alleges that the illegal conspiracy began around October 22, before the November 2022 Oakland mayoral election. Weeks before that election, Tao made commitments to take official actions as mayor that would benefit the Duongs. Examples of promises allegedly made by Tao include her agreement to purchase housing units from a company owned by the Duong family, her agreement to ensure the extension of a contract for recycling services that the city of Oakland had with one of David and Andy Duong's companies, and her agreement to use influence to help appoint a high-level city official to benefit the Duong's business interests. In exchange, the Duongs allegedly provided payments to Tao and Jones in various forms, including the financing of a negative mailer campaign targeting Tao's political rivals, and providing Jones and Tao with $95,000 in direct payments disguised as wages for a no-show job for Jones, with the promise of additional payments, all intended to benefit both Tao and Jones. Our communities depend on local government for critical services. The public needs to know it can trust those in charge of City Hall to work for the best interests of the people of Oakland. This public trust is broken when elected officials agree to a pay-to-play system to benefit themselves. This indictment reaffirms the commitment of this office to root out, investigate, and prosecute corruption in our local governments. The indictment was the product of a coordinated effort with our law enforcement partners, the FBI, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, and the IRS criminal investigation. I want to praise the invaluable work by our law enforcement partners investigating this case. I also want to commend the prosecutors from my office who are handling the case. Assistant U.S. Attorneys Molly Priedemann, Abraham Fine, and Lloyd Farnham, with the valuable assistance of Amala James and Madeline Wachs, and the leaders of our Oakland branch office, AUSA's Alexis James and David Ward. I am now pleased to turn the podium over to my friend and partner, FBI Acting Special Agent in charge of the San Francisco Field Office, Dan Costin.
Today's announcement stems from an ongoing multi-year investigation into public corruption initiated by information shared with the FBI from the Oakland's Ethics Commission. The effort dedicated to this investigation underscores our unwavering commitment to hold accountable those who violate the public trust. The indictment unsealed today highlights alleged corrupt actions involving promises to benefit private businesses in exchange for campaign support, financial gain, and influence on city operations. This case represents a joint effort by the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the IRS Criminal Investigations Division, and the U.S. Postal Inspection Service. I want to thank our federal partners for their collaborative efforts to ensure the individuals involved in this alleged scheme are brought to justice. The investigation is ongoing, but we hope bringing these charges serves to strengthen Bay Area residents' confidence in the processes by which our elected city government leaders are held accountable. We encourage anyone to report information that would aid the FBI's continuing work to investigate and disrupt public corruption at all levels. Next, I would like to introduce USPIS Inspector in Charge, Steve Sherwood.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephen Sherwood. I'm the Inspector in Charge of the San Francisco Division of the United States Postal Inspection Service. The indicted individuals are accused of carrying out a series of fraud schemes using the U.S. mail that targeted government agencies, businesses, and the public. These schemes erode both public trust in the Postal Service and the integrity of government institutions. Postal inspectors will continue to pursue all those who exploit the U.S. Postal Service and defraud the American people. I want to express my sincere gratitude to our law enforcement partners at the FBI, IRS Criminal Investigation, and the U.S. Attorney's Office for their invaluable teamwork and dedication to this critical endeavor. Strong and continued collaboration among federal law enforcement agencies led to the indictment announced today. I would like to now turn the podium over to my colleague, Special Agent in Charge Wynn of the IRS Criminal Investigations.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Linda Wynn. I'm the Special Agent in charge of IRS Criminal Investigation in the Oakland Field Office. Before I get started, I wanted to thank First Assistant U.S. Attorney Robbins for providing this opportunity for us to discuss this case with you today. The alleged activities of the accused have led to a growing sense of distrust amongst taxpayers and elected officials. As alleged, David and Andy Young used bribes to further the profitability of their business interests and to obtain undue influence over the appointment of high-level Oakland City officials. As stated in the indictment, former Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao and longtime companion Andre Jones accepted those bribes and sought to live up to their end of the scheme. Sheng Tao committed to extend the contract of the recycling company and buying housing units from business owned by the Youngs, while Andre Jones received these payments. As often the case, the accused left a money trail from their deceptive acts of corruption. IRS CI is uniquely qualified to investigate corruption of all types because we are the experts at financial investigations. The citizens of Oakland and the larger Bay Area deserve better and demand their public officials to adhere to the highest standards of civil service and full transparency. The accused in this case fell short of those standards. I'll close by saying we can't do this work alone. Many of our investigations are in partnership with other law enforcement agencies. I wanted to thank the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Northern District, the FBI, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, who worked side by side with us to meticulously advance this investigation. I also wanted to thank you all for your continued interest in this case. Thanks again.
All right, thank you. We will have a chance to field some questions, so I will go ahead and call on folks. Before you ask your question, again, I ask that you state your name and the name of the outlet that you are with. Go ahead.
I'm Sir Hassan Davis.
Let me give you this microphone.
Good morning. I'm Sir Hassan Davis. How are you guys going to step off to this? And where are the defendants? So will we be around where they currently have a situation with that?
The defendants will appear this morning in United States District Court in the Oakland Courthouse before a magistrate judge to be arraigned. I believe that's at 10:30.
Hi, Darwin Von Graham. I'm with the Oakland side. When you say that the Wong bribed the mayor to extend a contract, what contract are you talking about? The recycling services company they run has several contracts with the city of Oakland. Are you talking about the recycling services contract with the city? Are you talking about the Army-based contract in which they were to obtain city real estate?
Thank you for the question. I can just refer you to the allegations in the indictment, which are quite detailed, and urge you to read that. It describes an agreement to extend a recycling contract for the company owned by the Duangs.
Matt Simons, Courthouse East. What's the maximum sentence you could face if convicted?
The maximum sentences will be read out by the magistrate and the prosecutors today. It's an 8-count indictment. It varies. Of course, the maximum sentence isn't necessarily the sentence that will be imposed. Those are set by federal sentencing guidelines that are reviewed and applied by the judge at any sentencing.
Do you expect additional indictments?
Sorry.
Do you expect additional indictments?
Sorry, can you say your name and address, please?
Charles Clifford, Crown 4 News.
We continue to investigate this case. I can't comment on any additional indictments.
Natalie Orensky in Oakland side. At what point was the U.S. Attorney recused from this case? Was it at the beginning of this investigation or a more recent development?
I can't comment on timing. U.S. Attorney Ramsey is recused based on longstanding policy and practice of the Department of Justice. He's currently recused.
Within the Bay Area, can you tell us in total how much were the bribes that Howard Jones accepted?
Again, I refer you to the indictment, which is detailed. It alleges cash payments of $95,000 in cash.
Okay, we're going to take one more question.
All right, so that was the very latest press briefing from authorities as they were discussing the criminal charges that the former mayor of Oakland, California, now faces. She, along with her boyfriend, are inside this federal courthouse in Oakland, California for their first appearance. And just to catch you up on this, a grand jury has indicted the former mayor of Oakland, her boyfriend, and 2 businessmen for bribery, mail fraud, and wire fraud. So the former mayor was actually recalled by voters back in November during the election. She blamed that on billionaires, she says, bent on removing her from power and a high-level right-wing conspiracy. Federal investigators, they say that she used her 2 years in office to devise a pay-to-play scheme that enriched herself and her boyfriend. So happening right now is that a judge is now presiding over this first court appearance. She, her boyfriend, along with the 2 businessmen, are inside right now. Her attorney is expected to speak after the hearing. We actually saw them speak very briefly at the podium, saying that they're not taking any questions. But if convicted, the former mayor, along with her boyfriend and 2 businessmen, could face a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. We're going to monitor this live feed out of Oakland, California. If we see attorneys or anyone walk up to that podium, we're going to listen in. We're going to bring all of that to you live as it happens. For now, we're going to step away for a 2-minute break.
on scene that are evacuating the initial areas. Our law enforcement partners are helping us with that. And then as soon as we can determine what areas need to be evacuated, those wireless emergency alerts and Notify LA alerts go out.
Guys, wait a second. We got to move forward so people can get back in their homes and back in the parks and back in their churches. Officer, come here for a second. I was police commissioner for 10 years. Well, my job, thank you for service, sir, was to adjudicate cases. And when you adjudicate a case of something that goes wrong or right, you need information. The worst thing you can do is spend all kinds of time and energy away from making things better in the future than just looking at the past. So I'm not going to get involved in that. I hope they find out everything. But it would take me on every case, 6 or 7 months, I'd get 700 pages of science. I'd get reports. This whole thing about, well, if you would have done this, and if you should have done that, and well, it didn't. And we can find out. But if you think that's going to help the people that are frustrated, that are about to be homeless because they lost their jobs, or are looking for a place for their kids to go, that ain't going to help them. That's why she asked me to come on, is to help them and move forward and give them hope. And if I'm not going to provide the adrenaline to this community with these people to and more people that we're going to bring, then I will fail. I'm going to fail.
But we know he is not going to fail. Yes.
Gavin Newsom has said he has a commercial plan.
Yes. Absolutely, we are. I met with the governor yesterday for a good hour talking about all that. And so what you will see is the plans, and what he's doing is on a regional basis. We will be working hand in glove together. And in fact, that has already started because the state has taken responsibility for clearing the hazardous waste. All of that is happening right now.
Guys, I spoke with Governor Davis today. I've spoken with a lot of people before I decided, to do this, and I'm sure you talked to a lot of people before you asked me.
Governor Davis too.
But he's gone through fires, and he said, Steve, think about the victims.
Yes.
Think about the victims.
The family.
This ain't the Steve Soboroff show or the Karen Bass for Mayor show. This is about the victims, and that's what we are doing. That's what we talk about in private.
Right.
We don't talk about anything else. It's about the victims. It's about restoring community, because without community, people are lost, and that's what we're going to focus on. I have a 10-point plan of what I'm going to start on the first day. I'm not going through that today. The mayor and I are going to be walking around in the Palisades, but we're not doing this for picture visibility. We're doing this for completion, because these people are desperate. I heard a lady yesterday with her little girl saying, honey, you're going to go back to school, and it's going to be your same classmates, which I thought was wonderful. And you know what? We are going to be in the car for an hour every morning instead of 7 minutes. So we're going to have so much fun. But the mother was so relieved. That is what we want people to feel starting 15 minutes from now. I'm not the czar. She is the czar. She isn't.
Two more questions. Yes. No. Well, we absolutely will be taking that. We want to make sure that when we will build LA back stronger. We will build Palisades back stronger. And of course, we are going to, and it's not just Palisades. We know that there's many other areas. Mandeville Canyon, we're concerned about. And so Sylmar, what is going on there. And it's absolutely an opportunity for us to make sure we build back better, which means that we want to have a resilient community. One more question?
Are you the one that stole my phone? Because I got 50 of those messages today.
Well, yeah. Let me just answer that. And I will tell you, I don't know if you've had an opportunity, but going to the Disaster Recovery Center, I met with people. I met with people there yesterday and the day before. I've talked to people who lost their homes, who were actually ready to rebuild, which I frankly thought was exciting, that they had reached the point where they wanted to do what was needed in order to get back up again. But what we've told them is, especially in terms of the evacuation area, we don't know exactly when it's going to be safe. Well, it is predicted maybe it's another week. It depends on what happens on Tuesday. And so we've asked them to have the patience, because we don't want people going back before it is safe. So, building anything, even if there hadn't been a fire, you can't say exactly when you will be able to move back into your house.
A Genius Bar reservation system type way where people can know when they're going to be able to go in their house, and they're not going to be, and that we will make it safe for you instead of telling you you can't get in because it's not safe.
Exactly.
And so that's, that is one of the points. It's about the predictability, so people can get back into their house, because that's just the first thing.
Right.
You've got to remove the toxic stuff from these houses before the communities can be bulldozed. And look, we're talking about urban planning. This is no time for urban planning exercising. That'll delay it by 15 years. We need people back in their houses. This happened to be, my Palisades friends aren't going to, if it was going to happen, that it happened in the Palisades, that the planning of the Palisades is beautiful. The way the community works is beautiful. You don't need to rethink Pacific Palisades. You need to rebuild Pacific Palisades.
We are going to do everything we can to build LA back stronger, and to get people home so their hopes and their dreams can continue forward. Thank you very much.
Can I just say one thing I'm a little worried about? I'm worried about price gouging. Yeah. I'm worried about people who have lost hope and say, I'm just going to sell my lot now, my house burnt down. And I urge them, hang on. Because we're going to create a system where they'll be able to re-permit and have a clean lot, and they'll be able to sell it for 10 times more. Don't be gouged now by professionals.
But we don't want them to sell. Thank you very much, everyone.
As you heard there, we were listening into LA's Mayor Karen Bass and other officials now speaking out about those devastating wildfires and their hopes for recovery for so many communities. Did want to get that in for you here on Live Now from Fox. On the other side of this 2-minute break, we're going to continue on with our coverage there of these California wildfires. Certainly a story as we've been following it for the last 2 weeks, starting to see recovery efforts. Let's listen into those press conferences side of the 2-minute break. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Christina Evans. We do want to continue on with that press conference that we got a bit earlier today out of Los Angeles County, with several officials now speaking out about how they will be prosecuting after, if anyone there who's affected by those wildfires does commit insurance fraud. Let's listen into the remainder of those comments.
And we are very serious about protecting consumers and fraud and actually getting results. This is why this partnership today is critical. Let me give you some examples of how egregious these fraudulent folks can be, and some of the cases around fraud that we have seen, unfortunately, over the years. A public adjuster was sentenced to 10 years in prison for stealing more than $1.2 million in insurance payouts, hiring unlicensed contractors, and leaving victims without even repairing their homes. An adjuster and their company sought claims by sending misleading mailers claiming a recovery program that was supposedly funded by the state of California. In another case, the owner of a property management company and a janitorial service company fraudulently billed over $3 million for fire damage cleanup work that never happened or even was performed. So here's a clear guidance to avoid scams. Please verify the license for contractors and for adjusters through our website or on our hotline before you sign any contract. If you're under any duress or any stress, we don't want you to sign anything. call our department, call our DA. We are working hand in hand to get these answers and provide you some guidance real time. Before, be aware of unlicensed contractors with unsolicited offers and deals that seem to be too good to be true. So let's give you some steps, what we can do to help empower you. Document and organize. Take photos or videos of property damage and keep all receipts for additional living expenses like hotels and meals. I know there's a lot of great volunteers out there cleaning up properties in our streets, but before you clean up your individual property, take pictures. There's nothing like pictures to get proof of what the damage looks like, so there is no question from your adjuster or your insurance company. Create a dedicated email folder for communication with your insurance company. Create a brand new email so you have all the insurance-related issues, your adjuster issues, in one inbox. So it's readily accessible for you. Start your insurance claim. Contact your insurance company immediately to initiate your claim and request a full copy of your policy to understand your coverage. If you can't get a hold of your insurance company, let us know, and trust me, we'll be on the phone. We can also help you get your insurance policy as well and help you understand your policy, especially for our non-speaking English LA County residents. Report fraud and concerns that you see. Even if you have a slightest inkling of something shady going on, give us a call at 1-800-927-4357. We can verify licenses. We can let you know if they understand the consumer protections that we have here in California. Every state is unique. We are going to allow out-of-state adjusters to come in to heed just the amount of claims, but they're going to have to be verified through the department and understand the unique rights that consumers have here in California and protections. My goal is very simple: to make insurance fair, accurate, and available for all Californians. Whether you're navigating the claims process, seeking resources to rebuild, or protecting yourself from scams, we are here. So again, I'm going to say this number again. Call us at 1-800-927-4357, or you can visit us at insurance.ca.gov, or attend one of our workshops. We will have our enforcement team there as well to have one-on-one conversations. I just want to say a couple words in Spanish sobre las pausas y no renovaciones de State Farm. State Farm, la aseguradora más grande de California, fue la primera en responder a mi llamado a tener pausa a todas las no renovaciones residenciales pendientes, no solo en las áreas afectadas por los incendios, sino en cualquier parte del condado de Los Ángeles durante un año, lo que afecta a decenas de miles de pólizas. ¿Qué significa esto? A partir del 7 de enero, State Farm pausará las no renovaciones de las pólizas de propietarios de viviendas, alquileres, asociaciones de comunidad, residenciales y propietarios de empresas en las áreas más afectadas de los incendios actuales de California, y para todos los consumidores en el condado de Los Ángeles, con no renovaciones o con cartas de cancelación. Aplaudo a State Farm por responder a mi llamado y marcar la pauta para que sigan otras aseguradoras y hagan lo mismo. También estamos ampliando las moratorias obligatorias bajo mi mando sobre las no renovaciones a más áreas que reflejan las zonas de los incendios, que incluyen Palisades, Eaton y ahora Hearst, Lydia, Sunset y Woodley. Hoy estamos anunciando la formación de un equipo antifraude entre el Departamento de Seguros y la Fiscalía del Condado de Los Ángeles, de respuesta rápida para prevenir y judiciar el fraude de seguros. Por favor, ya sean en el proceso de los reclamos o buscando recursos para recuperarse o protegerse ante las estafas, que estamos aquí para ayudarles. Llámenos al 1-800-927-4357 o visite el sitio web insurance.ca.gov. Queremos hacer nuestra parte para ayudarle a recuperar su dinero lo más pronto posible y protegerles ante el fraude. Muchas gracias.
And with that, we have time for a few questions. people don't have access to their homes, how do you suggest they deal with the photo issue?
I want to make sure the minute that they have access to their home, take pictures. It's critical. Even for folks that, as we see that the fires are still raging, you might be adjacent to one of these fires, start taking, it's just a good rule. Take pictures of your valuables, take pictures of any upgrades you've made in your home. So the minute that you can, this is why it's important that the cleaning volunteer crews understand that we don't want them cleaning up individual properties until we have an opportunity to come in where it's safe to take photos.
Yes. Commissioner, are you going to be working also with the Contractor State Licensing Board as well to vet out people that don't have an active license?
We have that list already, and we're in constant contact with the Labor Commissioner, with the board. We're also working with the Attorney General to come after any, unfortunately, price gouging that immediately follows during this construction period, and any violations to worker safety or worker protections. So we're all in constant communication as well. Thank you.
And let me just add a moment on unlicensed contractors. We're about to have a tremendous amount of rebuilding work here in this county. The rebuilding work could literally number into the billions of dollars. It is an attractive proposition for unlicensed contractors to come in who might already be here or come in from the surrounding counties, from somewhere in this state or somewhere in this entire country. They view this as the gold mine to tap into. Let me send a very strong message to these unlicensed contractors. Number one, if you are an unlicensed contractor and you engage in this work, we're going to prosecute you. You'll be committing a crime. Number two, often these unlicensed contractors use labor trafficking. They engage in an aspect of human trafficking where they bring in people who are effectively beholden to them. And these are people, whether they're local people or people they bring in from the outside. It's a form of labor trafficking. We're going to go after that as well. And three, for the people out there who are in need of these services, we will get those services to you. Please follow the rules. And when I say follow the rules, again, you're going to see it with contracting. You'll see it with insurance. Right now, FEMA offers at least 2 different programs: an upfront payment for the people who have been affected by these wildfires of approximately $750. They then can give you additional monies under the FEMA programs, and you can access, for instance, the SBA loans, hundreds of thousands of dollars, either for on the personal side or on the business side. We do require something from you: honesty. So when you're actually responding to FEMA, when you're responding to the SBA, and they ask if you have suffered in the areas that have been affected, you need to give honest answers. And if you have not suffered, you do not qualify for these monies. And if you did suffer, you need to answer the questions honestly. We're going to look at those applications. And if people have inflated any amount illegally, and they know it when they submit the application, that is additional crimes that we will look at, investigate, prosecute, and punish. So again, you have heard today this rapid response team from the Department of Insurance working with the District Attorney's Office. It offers a helping hand generously to the people who need that helping hand right now. But it also has a hammer for the people who want to illegally take advantage of the funds that are coming into our community from the people who are actually suffering and need it. That helping hand and that hammer are what this rapid response team is all about. And I very much encourage people to take up the commissioner on his offer. Please contact the Department of Insurance if you even suspect that there is any type of fraud going on. And if it deals with price gouging, I'll give you an email address. It's stoppricegouging.dcba.lacounty.gov. That's stop price gouging, all one word, .dcba.lacounty.gov. If you report that price gouging, whether, again, it deals with contracting services, hotels, rental rooms, any type of good or material that someone is engaged in price gouging, which is charging you more than 10% from what it was on the market before the wildfires. They've committed a crime, and we will go after them. Any further questions? Yes.
Yeah. If I fill out my forms, when can I get money? How soon should I expect to get money and payments to be able? There's a lot of people who are, hanging by a thread.
Absolutely. This is why it's critical that if folks attend our workshops, our goal is to do this all in one-stop shop. Get the representatives there. Also, give us a call if you can't make it. We make that connection with the insurance company. There's been a lot of questions around the FAIR plan. We can get those questions and connect you with somebody with the FAIR plan if you call our number. That is my number one goal right now, is to get this process started and get your money as quickly as possible. Obviously, we're again doing this faster than we normally do because we want to wait until adjusters can come into your property, insurance companies can start looking at your claims process, but we can't wait. This fire is of unprecedented magnitude, and we need to start being much more proactive, hence why we're doing it now, to start the process as quickly as possible. So anybody who's having a problem with their claims process, call our department. That is our job, to make sure that the insurance companies honor that